Hello, everybody. I'm Tom Santa Barbara, president of Direct Advisors. We are consultants and third-party administrators that specialize in working with construction companies that perform public works projects. And we also are fiduciaries and investment advisors for 401k plans on a national basis. Welcome to our inaugural podcast. We're currently living in uncertain times, both an economic and a health crisis at the same time. The coronavirus pandemic has created a worldwide change in the way people are living their lives. We are lucky to be Americans. The generosity of our neighbors, friends, and family will help us get through this difficult time. We are lucky that our government has stepped up to help the most vulnerable and prop up our economy. We will get through this. When we do, things will change. One of the things that will change is how we look at retaining our employees. If this or any other emergency that we face, again, we will be ready. So one of the benefits that we provide businesses, both construction and non-construction, is supplemental unemployment. What is supplemental unemployment? Sub, as we call it, provides weekly cash to laid off employees. Said another way, it creates a temporary bridge between unemployment and employment. How did it get started? Well, back in the 50s, when labor unions complained that state unemployment benefits were not sufficient during times of layoff for their seasonal employees, they went and asked for an additional cash benefit that would not reduce state unemployment benefits. Supplemental unemployment was born. Supplemental unemployment had a hurdle, though, and that hurdle was that it could not be treated as wages, because if it was treated as wages, then it would interfere or reduce state unemployment. So in 1956, the IRS created an exception removing sub-benefits from the classification as wages and excluded these benefits from FICA and FUTA taxes, saving both the employee and the employer roughly 8%. How does it work for your company? And what are the benefits to you and your employees? Well, in the construction industry, funds the weekly benefit by using fringe benefit dollars that are earned on public works jobs into an employee benefit trust that pays the benefit to their employees. The plan must be written, have a plan document, and employees must be aware of the plan, so it must be communicated to them in writing. Not just construction companies can provide supplemental unemployment. Companies are looking to have an insurance policy today for if and when the next disaster occurs. Employers will fund a discounted amount of salary for a specific period of time, whether it be 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, and that money will be available for their employees to provide a full paycheck when they're on temporary layoff. So how much can I pay my employee? Well, it's based upon, and those are two key words, a formula. So it can be 1 week of pay, 1.5 times pay. However, an employer cannot pay the benefit in a lump sum to the employee. The plan must also meet qualifications to keep the FICA exclusion, and that will all be contained in the written document. So what are the benefits to the employer? Well, number one, and I think the most important benefit, is employee loyalty. This plan will be able to provide a bridge for these employees for when times get better. The employer can fund the benefits on a discounted basis. So what I mean by that is the employer, if they were funding $1,000 a week prior to the temporary layoff, the employer now can use state unemployment as a bit of a combination with their funding. So in New York State, state unemployment is $400 on a weekly basis. The employer can pay $600, so they're saving the $400. And they also, because this is not going to be considered a wage, the employer and employee are both going to save, as I mentioned, the FICA and FUTA. So that's another 8% savings. Now, here's the real kicker for the employer. The employer will not be paying this benefit as a wage. They'll be paying this benefit into, or these dollars into, an employee benefit trust. Hence, the dollars that go into the trust will not hit payroll of the employee. Not hitting payroll means they will not provide a labor burden cost to the employer, which means the employer will save workers' compensation. It could save general liability. It will save the FICA and FUTA taxes. So that could possibly be 20+% savings on those dollars that go into the trust. Pretty attractive for employers to put that insurance policy into place. Again, I said the most important benefit at the start for the employer is maintaining or retaining their employees and maintaining employee loyalty. Okay, what about the employee? Well, I think it's obvious. The employee will be paid in full while they're on temporary layoff. And that payment would come from the trust, the employee benefit trust, funded by their employer, or in the case of construction, funded by the fringe benefit dollars earned by the employee while working on public works jobs, and state unemployment. Remember, sub does not interfere with state unemployment. The employee will receive the dollars from the trust less 7.65%. So they're going to save 7.65%, or the FICA. They will pay state and federal tax. Now, depending on which state you're in, for example, in Pennsylvania, there is no state tax on supplemental unemployment. One of the most important benefits for the employee, it eases the financial burden on the employee during these times. The employee feels a sense of loyalty to the employer and is not, from a financial position, put into a situation that the employee would be damaged or hurt. So these plans can be customized to meet the needs and goals of the company, and we would be happy to help you by answering any questions to see if supplemental unemployment is right for you. Before we finish, please stay safe and be thankful for what we have today. You can reach us at directadvisors.com if you have any questions, or at my email, tom@directadvisors.com. Thank you for listening. Until next time, I'm Tom Santabarbara.